What's going on, guys? In today's video, we're going to be talking about 10 things you need to know before you make your move to Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Let's get into it. My name is Ramon.Lomeli. I'm a local realtor and the team leader of the Smart Move Group brokered by eXp Realty here in Winston-Salem, as well as all the surrounding areas. I wanted to make this video because there are a lot of things out there that people don't know or don't realize about Winston-Salem, North Carolina that you may like or you may dislike. Also, I just want to remind you guys that if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about the Winston-Salem area, feel free to reach out. The number on the screen is my phone number. You can call me, you can text me, you can reach out via email as well. All my full contact details will be in the about section of this video. In the about section of this video, I'm also going to include my relocation guide. It's completely free. That's going to be a helpful resource whether you're visiting or you're coming here to stay for a while. Great neighborhoods, great restaurants, things to do, things to see. So number one on today's list is going to be our proximity to the beach. So a lot of people don't realize that here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, we're only 3.5 hours from Wrightsville Beach, which happens to be the beach that's closest to us. But you also have Myrtle Beach, Wilmington, the Outer Banks. There's a ton of beaches up and down the North and South Carolina coast, which are all beautiful and they're all known for their own unique thing. But actually, Wrightsville Beach, which is the beach closest to us, happened to be voted as one of Travel + Leisure's top 10 beaches in the United States of America in 2022. So that's pretty awesome. And personally, me and my family, we're good to go to the beach for at least once a year. And the cool thing is that we get to go to a different beach essentially every single time. This last time we went, we explored the Outer Banks. That was a different experience than what I expected. So if you live here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, you can treat the beaches here as a day trip, or you can go and stay for a few days or even a week if you like. Number two on today's list, we're going to talk about the proximity to the mountains. Now, we do have one mountain that's really close to us. It's called Pilot Mountain. It's a national park. We go there often, great for hiking. And the little towns surrounding Pilot Mountain are actually awesome for like thrifting. They have rock climbing, kayaking, canoeing. They have parks, pet friendly. There's a ton of things to do in and around Pilot Mountain. But we actually have what's known as the Blue Ridge Mountains, and they are only 2.5 hours away. And not only that, they are actually surrounded by all these beautiful towns as well. So like Asheville is near there, Cherokee, North Carolina is near there. And so there's a lot of little towns and things to do. Now, the Blue Ridge Mountains are amongst the oldest mountain range in the whole world. And the Blue Ridge Mountains are awesome. There's a ton of little towns surrounding the mountains, and they're all kind of mount towns. So there's small towns. There's plenty of things to do around there. And additionally, we also have the Great Smoky Mountains, which are only 4 hours away. The Great Smoky Mountains are more well known than the Blue Ridge Mountains. You have a ton of towns where there's tons of culture and tons of things to do. So it's never a dull time going to the mountains in North Carolina. So I'm not sure where in the country you're watching this from, but if you'd like to be within a day's trip of the mountains or the beach, I think Winston-Salem is going to be great for you. Number three, we're going to have to talk about the weather. I love the weather here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, because it never gets too cold or too extremely hot for any prolonged period of time. Additionally, you also get to see all 4 seasons, which is something that I personally love. So according to the NOAA, June, July, and August happen to be our hottest months here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, with an average temperature in the high 80s. Now, I will say we rarely see it get into the 3 digits, and even if it does, it's only for like an afternoon, and then it's back into the 90s. So yeah, it does get hot, and it is kind of muggy in North Carolina, in Winston-Salem specifically, but at least it doesn't get 110, 115 degrees like some places in the Southwest. The NOAA also says that June, July, and August, the same months, are also our rainiest months. We're looking at about 5 to 7 rainy days per month on average, and anywhere from 3 to 3.5 inches of rain. And basically what that looks like here on the ground is you'll have a day or two of rain usually, and then you won't see it for a week, and then it comes back for a day or two. Is kind of what it feels like. So even if it's gloomy and dark and rainy, the next day is probably going to be full of sunshine. But also that is what causes it to be kind of muggy and humid in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So it's kind of gift and a curse kind of thing. So number 4, we're going to talk about allergies, and this is actually a big one for many people. So because of the weather here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, we essentially have 3 different allergy seasons. But tree pollen is the most notorious for being intense in the springtime here in Winston-Salem. And this tree pollen allergy, that's going to be peaking usually in April. But because our winters are super mild here in Winston-Salem, we sometimes see the allergy season actually start in late February or early March. But it is kind of comical. Every time you wash your car and you're driving down the road, by the time you get to where you're going, your car is already filled with pollen all over it in the springtime. Sometimes you can kick or punch a tree and you just see the dust fly off of it, the pollen just dusts off of it. It's really insane. And I feel like me personally, I'm getting used to the allergies around here. They used to bother me for a few years, but as of late, they've not been bothering me as bad. When it was really bad for me, I just took an Allegra and it wasn't too bad. But if allergies are a big concern for you, then you definitely want to rethink your move to Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So number 5 on today's list of things you may or may not realize about Winston-Salem, North Carolina, we're going to talk about the traffic. So in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, you're gonna have to have a car. Unless you live in like downtown Winston-Salem or very select neighborhoods, you're more than likely gonna need a car in Winston-Salem. And that's something I've grown accustomed to. You can't really just walk to the grocery store, walk to drop the kids off at school. You know, we're not one of those cities. We do have public transportation, but from what I hear, it's rather limited compared to some other major cities. But yeah, if you live in Winston and work in Winston, you could have a 15-20 minute commute from one end of Winston-Salem to the other. Maybe 35 minutes with some traffic in there if you're going at peak hours. But personally for us, like our grocery store is like 8 minutes. I live on the outskirts of Winston and my office is here in the middle of Winston-Salem, and that's about a 15-minute trek. Obviously, it just kind of depends on where you live and where you need to be. And if you give me an idea of what you're looking for, I can kind of find you a place that's near your work or near the areas that you need to be near. And by the way, guys, if you're getting any kind of value out of this video, I would really appreciate it if you go down there, hit that like button, leave me a comment, but above all, subscribe. Those kinds of things keep me motivated to keep pumping out these videos for you. And don't forget about that free relocation I have in the about section of this video. Number 6, colleges. Did you know that Winston-Salem, North Carolina is home to 4 universities and 1 technical college? We have Winston-Salem State University, which is an HBCU. It was founded in 1892, but that's not our oldest college. Salem College is actually our oldest college here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and that was founded in 1772. Salem College is a all-women's college, and it actually sits inside of a living history museum known as Old Salem. The museum part is open to the public, so we go there often, take pictures or take a stroll through the park. We have University of North Carolina School of the Arts, and that was founded in 1963, but probably our most famous or popular college or university here in the Winston-Salem area is going to be Wake Forest University. The Demon Deacons of Wake Forest University have been a staple here in Winston-Salem for a very, very long time. Actually, a portion of the population here in Winston-Salem is in town because of one of the colleges or technical colleges that we have in the area. Number 7, we're going to talk about the Winston-Salem art scene. One of Winston-Salem's many nicknames is the City of Arts and Innovation. Winston-Salem has a vibrant visual and performing arts community. So in Winston-Salem, there's so many different ways to experience art. We have the Stevens Center in downtown Winston-Salem, which houses the Winston-Salem Orchestra as well as the Piedmont Opera. And they also do so much more there. I'm going to leave their website in the About section so you can see everything they have to offer. And then there's Aperture Cinema, another staple in the art scene of Winston-Salem. Aperture Cinema is really popular amongst the locals here, and they show a lot of, I guess we would call them indie films, not really blockbusters that go into, you know, the main theater. So it's really cool to see something different. Then we have SECA, which is the Southeastern Center for Contemporary Arts. We have the Reynolda House Museum of American Art. And my favorite, probably the thing I see most often, the thing I experience the most often, I should say, Artivity on the Green. Number 8, we're going to talk about the nightlife and breweries of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Now, Winston-Salem isn't known as a hotspot for like nightclubs, but we do have some amazing bars, but most popular in the area as of late are going to be the breweries. And I really love the atmosphere at these breweries because it's very laid back. It's not very, you know, you don't have to get all dressed up and get fancy to come here. You get to try all kinds of different kinds of beers and styles of beers that they have to offer. There's usually a different kind of food truck at each one of these breweries every night. Foothills Brewing, Incendiary Brewing, Radar Brewing, Fiddlin' Fish. There's so many great ones out there, and if we're going out, me and my wife, we're probably going to be at a brewery. And one of the cool things is that if you have pets, a lot of these are actually pet friendly, or at least the exterior part is. So bring old Fido, enjoy a beer, grab some food at the food truck. You might even catch a local band playing. Number 9, I feel like a lot of people don't talk about this, but in Winston-Salem, we have over 70 recreational parks. So you have Granite Quarry Park, you have Bolden Park, Hathaway Park, Miller Park, you have Bailey Park. There's a ton of parks that me and my family usually frequent. And some of them have really cool visual aspects to them. Some of them are really convenient for a night out on the town. You also have your traditional kind of parks as I'm used to them, with little shelters and benches and, you know, grills if you want to rent a spot out for the weekend. Especially me and my family, we're trying to be a little bit more active this year, so having a ton of parks available to us is really important. We're about to get to number 10, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave me a comment, let me know where you're watching this video from. But above all, subscribe. That kind of thing keeps me motivated to keep pumping out these videos for you. Number 10, I'm a huge history guy, so I love that Winston-Salem has a ton of history. We have 3 original Moravian settlement sites from the 1700s, and that's going to be Old Salem, Bethabara, and Bethania. So Old Salem is probably the most popular. It's completely free to get in. There are shops and stuff there that you can do, and you can buy things, but I mean, you're walking through essentially the original colony. All the homes that were built there, a lot of them are still there. If not, they have like the silhouette of the house where it was. They have people walking around, the workers there, in the era appropriate clothing or garbs, I guess. Bethabara and Bethania are similar, but less things to do there. It is still cool to see and go. And the history of Winston-Salem is quite interesting, and it dates back to the 1700s. I'm going to need to make a video about the history of Winston-Salem. That's something for another video. Before you leave, don't forget to check out some other videos on the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.